Hey there, everybody. Today I have the Elliot Brown Holton Professional. Now, this is going to run you about $600. I did the conversion. Of course, that can change from UK pounds, but to $598, $600 USD. Although I have found it on a website, I think it's windycity.com, for $495 in the black dial variation. But if you're ordering directly from Elliot Brown Watches in the UK, it's going to come to about close to $600, and I think that's before shipping. You're looking at a Ronda 715 Swiss quartz movement. You're looking at a 43 millimeter case, 52 millimeter lug to lug, 12 millimeters in thickness, sapphire crystal. The rest of the specifications I will have down below, and you do want to check out my full article at watchreport.com. I have a lot more info on this. There's a lot of things really to touch on and talk about. But more importantly, I'm giving a look at it on video here for you. And there is a lot of info, of course, on the Elliot Brown website about this. And one thing that I want to point out specifically here, and I'm reading this directly from the website. The Holton Professional was developed in response to a request from a specialist branch of the military who demanded a fit-for-purpose professional watch capable of life in the field. It's the first military-issued watch from a British company in over 10 years, and prior to being approved, was the subject of intense testing, surviving some of the most hostile conditions imaginable. Now, I'm always very clear and very honest on this. I read that from the website. That's Elliot Brown. Now, from what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of people comment on previous videos of my Elliot Brown reviews and the articles on watchreport.com or Instagram or wherever they're commenting. And there's a lot of guys that stand behind Elliot Brown, the watches, the company, and everything else. I have seen guys say that they have tested. Sorry about that. Seems my camera decided to cut off at a very inappropriate time. I had to clear the card out a little bit. But getting back to the testing of these watches, that is the claim that they are putting out on their website. I've seen a lot of comments from guys, like I said, that do test their watches, have put these through abuse. I'm not going to make that claim. I've always talked about this. I hope that when anytime a company uses military in their description of their watches, that I hope it's true and that it is backed up, because, to use the military otherwise to sell a watch is, very cheesy. But I have seen that Elliot Brown really does test and put their watches through the paces, if you will. This one, I'm sure, is no different. And like I said, there is a lot going on about this watch. Now, yes, it's $600, and it is a quartz. And I know you're going to see a lot of people talk about that, but if you are going to have a hard use watch, one that was done, in conjunction with the military or for the military or, anybody that's a professional or whatever, you're going to want a quartz watch. That's what most of them are going to end up using, because it's tough. It could take a lot more abuse. Now, even though that this is a quartz, Elliot Brown still goes ahead. I mean, you have a 2 millimeter flat sapphire. Now, it is flat, so that way it can't get really, knocked into things. They have their proprietary shock system containing a steel housing suspended by elastomer shock absorbers. And the projected battery life on this is 3 years. So not as good as a 10-year battery. I'd kind of like to see a 10-year battery in something like this. That way you don't have to worry about getting, it water tested and everything else like that when the battery is changed. But you're, looking at about 3 years. So hopefully if you buy one new and the battery is fresh, you're going to get about 3 years. You get one and it's 6 months sitting on the shelf, you're probably going to be looking at 2.5 years of battery life. So this model comes in 2 colors right from the Elliot Brown website. You're going to get this green, and this one is on the green rubber. There's also a black with a black rubber, and then you can also get it with just a NATO strap. Price is going to be a little bit cheaper. Now, if you do not like that date, or you want a no-date watch, or you just don't like the placement of the date on this, I particularly don't. As if you're new to this channel, I don't really care for the date at that 4:30 position, especially when it's kind of getting like into the middle of the dial here. Not my favorite. And if you're like me and you don't like that, or you just prefer a much cleaner looking watch, you could check out Page and Cooper. They are a watch dealer in the UK, and they have two variations of this that does not have a date, and they also have different dial colors. So you want to check that out if you are looking for something that doesn't have a date. I'll leave a link in the description to that below, because they're basically the same watch, but they are special editions with Page and Cooper. So getting back to this, you have PVD. Now, I believe the Page & Cooper does have a non-PVD one, and only the bezel on it is PVD. Or excuse me, I'm saying PVD, and I really should be saying DLC. No, I should be saying PVD. It is a stainless anti-reflective gunmetal PVD, and I wanted to get that out clear. But specifically, what it says on the website here, go ahead and give you a look at the side of the case. 316 stainless anti-reflective gunmetal PVD treated with an anti-fingerprint coating that naturally repels mud and grime. PVD thickness is 0.8 microns, so it wears beautifully for years. The maximum possible thickness without loss of definition on case detailing, approximately twice the industry standard thickness. Okay, that was a lot. In other words, pretty damn good coating apparently that's on this. As I said, this bezel is hardened as well. You could see that you do have those star screws for the lugs here. They are one piece. They are shouldered into the other side of the lug, so you don't need two screwdrivers, and the tool is included to do them. Let's go ahead here and give you a close-up look around the sides of the case and bezel. Go ahead here and give the bezel a turn. Now I'm going to say on my particular example, this bezel has some, it's very easy to turn. I could turn it with one finger here. Now, even though it's, I guess, easy to turn, I guess I really wouldn't say it has play. Well, it has some play in it, but not like, oh, it's like moving if I bump it or whatever. But it is very, very easy to turn. And I guess they did that. It could be just this particular example, but maybe they did that. Maybe they did that so that it'd just be easy to turn in all situations. Crown is very easy to go ahead and use. It has that knurling on it like you see on the bezel. Go ahead and switch the date there for you. And let's go ahead and carefully screw this back down. Sorry, hard to do sometimes when coming from behind the camera. I really, really like that pop of yellow on that second hand there. Just really nice in contrast to that green dial. Let's go ahead here, give you a closer look at that green dial and that very light texture that you could see to it. So very much like every other Elliot Brown watch, you got your screw down case back here, no see-through case back, and even on their automatic ones there's no see-through case back. They have a metal movement holder and their shock absorption system. So this is going to be very heavy duty, and that's the purpose of this watch. Now, granted, there's still going to be people that are going to purchase this watch that are not professionals, that are not this, that are not in the military, they're not police, they're not law enforcement, nothing like that. They're watch collectors. They just like the watch. And, you just want a watch that, you could probably beat the crap out of for the next couple of years. It's probably going to hold up pretty well. When it comes to this rubber strap, it is a fitted rubber strap, so that is going to extend out that lug area. So even though it says 52 millimeter lug to lug, it's probably going to be more like 53 millimeter lug to lug on the wrist because of this rubber strap. Another thing, this is a natural rubber strap, but this is one of those, more stiff rubber straps. Now this is going to hold up really well, but if you like a really soft, pliable rubber strap, this is not going to be it. As you can see, it has some spring to it. This is a thick, heavy-duty rubber strap. Let me go ahead and show it to you on my 7.5-inch wrist. Okay, here is a look on my 7.5-inch wrist. Pretty good looking watch. With that fitted rubber strap, it is going to make it like a 53mm lug-to-lug, but you'll notice I do not have any overhang with the way it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. One thing that I do want to point out is where it is buckled. I have a pretty average size wrist, as I just stated, and I am in the third hole. There's only 2 more holes left, and then you have the rest of the tail. So, 7 3/4, maybe, probably somewhere in between 7.5 and 7 3/4 is really what this is going to fit up to. If your wrist is larger than that, you're going to have to look into aftermarket straps. I do not believe Elliot Brown carries longer rubber straps for this model. Here is a look at the Loom, and you're going to see those hands are very, very bright. The markers, just a little less bright. But then you see that the bezel is somewhat loomed, but not loomed all that much, including that 12 o'clock triangle. Not sure why, or if it's just this example. But that is a look at the Loom of the Elliot Brown Holton. So, as I said in the beginning of this review, there's going to be people that are immediately going to balk at this because of the price of $600. Obviously, this watch is not for you. And just like me and everybody else, not every watch is for everybody. But there is a lot going on with this watch. There's a lot maybe that, doesn't necessarily you notice when you are first looking at it, as like I said, with the PVD treatment, the hardened steel bezel, all of that. Yes, the Loom on the bezel, I'm not sure really what happened there with the Loom on the bezel. I'm not sure why it wasn't done a little bit thicker with, and maybe they couldn't add thicker coating to the Loom, or maybe again just my example. But the Loom on the hands and the numbers there and everything is nice and strong. And overall, I really like how this watch fits and sits on the wrist, and just overall look. Obviously, very rugged. It's it's meant to be a professional military hard use style of watch, so nothing flashy here. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and then hit that notification bell twice. That way, you never miss any of our content here at WatchReport.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As I said in the beginning of this review, please go ahead and click the link in the description. Take you over to WatchReport.com for my full article. And if you want to see more pictures of this model, I'll have the link to the Elliot Brown website as well. It's been Don Evans for WatchReport.com, giving you a look at the Elliot Brown Holton Professional. Thanks for looking. Talk to you on the next one.